Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We have on the show tonight my friend Kristi Sullivan. And Kristi does human design for a living, and she also is involved with something that helped me at a really hard time in my life, the Goddess Revolution. So welcome, Kristi.
Hi, Marcia. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here and see you.
Thank you. You know, I should have thought about having you on the show a long time ago, but it just didn't click. And
The
then,
perfect timing, just when it's right.
right. Exactly. I love that. So Kristi and Tiffany live in the same state. And as you know, I'm out in Montana. So it's a little later for her, early for me. So Kristi, tell me a little bit about what got you into human design.
So about 8 years ago now, before that, I've always been interested in like personality assessments. I learned and taught yoga for many years and would study different things, different modalities in health, wellness, personal development. And then about 8 years ago, a friend had introduced me through a coaching program she did. She introduced me to the human design tool or system, I could call it. And when I learned about my human design, what human design is, that we each have this unique energy blueprint, it resonated for me because I also know the chakra system, and that's part of the human design modality.
Mm-hmm.
And it also just really fascinated me that what I learned about myself, the things that I discovered when I looked at my design. It's sort of like an astrology chart. You run it based on your birth date. And when I saw mine and understood it, it helped validate a lot of things that I did or how I thought or felt, and helped me realize things just solidified like who I was. I felt like I got to see the inside of who I was. And it was really, really fascinating. And really, at that time in my life, it found me at the right time where it really helped me in learning about myself.
I can tell you that it really helped me too when I first discovered it because I think I was thinking about it wrong. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, but it did validate a lot of the things that I knew about myself and some things that I didn't know about myself. But they registered true when I started to learn about it. So I'm a projector, a 5/1 projector. And Kristi, you are a generator, correct?
I am. I'm a 4/6 sacral generator.
Okay, awesome. So I know that, and I don't know, we've got people watching on the show, so let me say hi to a few people. Robert is here. There are lots of people on different things, so I'm going back and forth.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to know if you could ask them if there's a way for them to chat, like if they know their human design, if they need a little background about it, and if they also do know what it is, what their energy type and maybe profile and authority.
Cool. We'd love to hear from you. So, yeah, let us know in the chat. Let's see. Richard is here. Robert is here. Carol Ann is here. And Jill and Roy and Pat are also watching. So some of them we see from Rumble, some of them we see from YouTube. But if you all know your human design, put it in the chat and let Kristi know, and she can tell you a little more about it. I know long ago when I started the show, I did do one show about human design. And so I looked up some people's designs. So like Richard and Robert might know theirs, and I'm not sure who all else, but we'll see. We'll see who answers. I know that It's been interesting advertising being a projector, because advertising for everything has been put out in accordance with how generators work. Do you know all this?
I think what you're referring to is that so human design, like I said, it helps you to understand certain ways that your energy operates. I call it looking under the hood of the car. So if
Yeah.
you have a certain car that you're driving in this journey of life, you need to know how to optimize the energy, the fuel, the way to maintain the health of that car. And you're right, when we have certain ways of doing things in society, maybe like your business, um, and promoting it, marketing it, many people will try to follow, well, what is that person doing that's successful? Maybe I should be doing what they're doing. And that's really what really surprised me, and also inspired me when I learned human design, because I realized, as I was trying to build a business and trying to make something successful, following a formula that other people did. It was a network marketing company. So we were trained and given sort of certain tools and such, and a way to do things. But I just found I didn't build it or create it or make it successful as fast as other people.
Mhm.
And so, like you said, when you're trying to do, let's say, marketing or building a business in a way that perhaps is, let me go make it happen, let me go initiate something and decide with my intellect, with my thoughts, what do I need to do? What are they doing? What should I be doing? And you might find yourself really working hard, doing things that don't fit easily or come easily. With human design, the name of the book that I produced is Stop Overworking and Start Overflowing, which means learn what's the best way for you to be doing something in your business or in your relationships, and following that from a more intuitive place is going to make a huge difference, so that you're not trying to follow what others are doing. And I think that's what you're talking about, Marcia, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because I did have a lot of people talking to me about how to do this and how to do that. And it just did not work for me. And then I even hired a coach, and she was telling me, it'd be really great if you did this and this way. And I said, you know what? I can't do it that way, because it will absolutely drain me for no reason whatsoever. And I don't even remember what it was. And then I told her about one of the books that I had gotten, about being an empowered projector. And it was, things turned around for her, and she realized, oh my gosh, there's this whole world of people that are so different, and and we can
Yeah.
figure a bit of them out, so that we can understand better how to coach them. And she did turn a lot of things around, and realized that she could use human design as a tool as well, so that she could coach people in business better. So
Yeah. So
super
you
good.
shared your wisdom and insight with her, and that helped her in her business. Um, and I
Yeah.
say that as a smile, because projectors are a certain energy type where they have a lot of wisdom and insight to share. And we, as the busy generator types, me, perhaps your coach, we just like to, know what's the next thing I have to do, what's the next task, and we just keep going and build things and create things. And projectors can do that, but they really have, their energy is meant to be guiding others, inspiring others. Um, and they need literally a lot of rest to do it in a way that feels really healthy and good for them. Generators, for example, we if we're healthy and rested, we get up and we just go like the Energizer Bunny. But what you're describing is what 20% of the population are projector types that are not meant to be working 9 to 5 jobs, are not meant to be busy, busy bees like the generator types. And if you're getting coached in your business to perform, to be initiating and making things happen. Well, even generator types, we're here to respond. We're here to follow opportunities. And there's certain clues, again, in our energy system that can help us align more authentically and more easily to that energy that's running behind the scenes. And so for projectors especially, they need a lot of good downtime and rest. And hopefully that's something that you got to do once you realized your energy type.
Yeah, I've been really a lot more conscious about how much I rest and the quality of the rest that I get. So I will, rather than just sit in a chair and scroll through something on Facebook or whatever on my phone, if I get a break between clients, I will just climb on my table and go out for a few minutes, and then I am totally ready for the next clients instead of being drained by whatever I found on the internet, So a lot more conscious of that. So I know we've got a couple people making comments. Ruth says she hasn't heard of human design before. So she's glad that we're talking about it tonight. Ruth, if you can send your birthday information like you do for an astrology chart, we can look up your human design chart. And I think I can probably show it on my phone.
And if folks want to go to my website, hdwithkristi.com, they can pull up their chart without having to give their information.
Oh, there you go.
Just another way to
perfect
to access some of this that we're talking about and your energy type. And that's a great starting point. So human design can be very complex. There's a lot of elements to it. It's like astrology, where again, it's based on your birth date, but there's a lot of like signs and figures and numbers that you'll see on your chart, and you'll probably look at it and say, what the heck is this? But the first thing I always tell somebody who's new to their human design is look at the place called your type or energy type. And it's either going to be one of 5 things. It's going to be either a generator or manifesting generator, and we make up about 70% of the population. Or it'll say projector like Marcia, that's 20% of the population. Or else you may be a rare manifester or rare reflector, and they make up the smaller 10% of the population. What's important is that that's a great starting point, and there's a lot of again, elements and nuances that help give you different ideas for your energy, your personality, characteristics, your soul journey, your life path or purpose. The energy type can be one of the most profound, because if you are operating, for example, as a generator and you're built as a projector or even a manifester, and you're not taking enough downtime, your energy is going to burn out. You will be overworking. You will be in a job, probably 9 to 5, burned out, facing health issues. And these are really important things to note with your human design is what is your day-to-day rhythm like? And for everybody who's listening, no matter what your energy type, you want to feel rested. You want to feel like you are in the alignment of doing things that feel good, that are right for your alignment and your energy. And that sometimes means making the choices that you need to say no to certain things. So that's kind of a quick overview, no matter what energy type you are.
Yes, good. I'm
so
sorry.
When people are sharing their birth information, I'm also going to say that we will need your birth location as well as your time of birth. And that's really important because human design is based on the planets, the transits, even the position of the moon and other cosmic elements in the sky. And those things can sometimes be moving that if you are off by, let's say, a few hours, it can change your human design.
Right, right. I mean, yeah. If mine changes by, I don't know, I must be on a cutoff somewhere. I think if I put mine at noon, it even changes from to something else.
Yeah.
So, and that's only,
Yeah.
I was born at 9:16. So, yeah. So, okay, Richard, you're almost there. Yes. We just need the time that you were born. And we could look it up. But if you want to go to her website, you can do that too. HD with Kristi with a K.com. So, and she's got it. Boy, words. Tiffany has it listed up there so that you can see it. And then we don't have to ask you all the questions back too. Richard said he is pretty sure he's a manifester. So manifestors are a lot different than either one of us. So do you want to go into that a little bit?
That would be great. Yeah, and when we label this manifester, in a sense, we're all able to be manifestors and in that general sense, but the label of manifester, it's a certain energy type, and the role of a manifester is to be the initiator, to have this creative idea that you take out into the world, that you wake up with, for example, a download of some sort. And you, really important manifestors need to be sure that they have the support because, again, like a projector, their energy is not like the generator where they can just go, go, go all day. So as they're like preparing to birth something creative, they need to be really well rested and manage their energy well. And also, it's helpful when they are informing those around them of what they're doing so that they get, in a sense, the energetic support, so that they get the structure in place. Because typically manifestors will start something and then they hand it off to somebody else to kind of finish, to like the generator to continue building, or the projector to create and oversee. So manifestors are pretty rare, and they were the ones who definitely in the last handful of generations have been the ones who are helping to create, innovate, and spur new things. It's, again, when we look at it from more of an energy perspective than personality or character, it's really an important energy. Just like the projector is really important for oversight, and the generator for building and making the tasks happen. So it's nice to see that we've got a mix here on the show today.
Right, right. Okay. So I did look up Ruth's.
Okay.
And I did not use your website. I apologize, but I can.
That's all right. It's hard to see.
Maybe I can't make it.
There we go. Yes.
There we go. So Ruth, I can send this to you, but I wanted you to see a little bit of it so you could.
Looks like Ruth might be a projector as well. Is that correct?
She is a projector, yes. A 6'2", which we haven't talked about profiles yet, so maybe that's what makes her a little bit different than me. And then she's an emotional authority, and mine is splenic authority.
So what I can say about that is, yes, so we have, for example, two projectors, but they can look very different on paper, on their design, as well as showing up in life in terms of their personality.
Mhm.
I see somebody also posting that they are a manifester. But again, when you have a similar energy type to somebody else, it's only the starting point. So the second thing, once you find your energy type, the second thing that I want you to look at if you're looking at your design is something called the authority. This is again a different element. And you mentioned that Ruth is an emotional authority. I'll explain what that is. I have an authority called the sacral authority, and Marcia, you have the splenic authority.
Mhm.
So, what is authority? So, now that we understand first the energy type, and that's the way that sort of generally the energy um, uh, works or optimizes in each of us. Um, it helps us to give us a way to operate in a day-to-day function, like how much rest do we need and what kind of work might we be doing. What's the second important thing is how we make decisions, and we use the authority to help point us in that direction. Because if the manifestor comes up with a great idea, or the generator is given a role or a job to do, or a projector is given an invitation, what's important is to decide what is the right thing to say yes to, and when do we need to say no or not yet. And this authority is an inner guidance system. It's like your inner GPS. When you're a generator, you have access to something called the sacral GPS, or the sacral um, voice. This is a gut feeling. This is an inner guidance, maybe coming from the sacral center, that will light up if it's a yes. If you're, for example, offered a job, a generator may suddenly like feel like, wow, this really lights me up. That's a really good indicator that it's a great opportunity to say yes to. If you have emotional authority, what that means, and 50% of the population have emotional means to give yourself a little time to sit with the opportunity or the invitation or the XYZ that you're facing, to make the decision and to sleep on it, to actually give yourself about 24 hours to feel, is this the right thing for me to say yes to? And then, Marcia, in your case, we call this a rare splenic authority, where you want to wait for an intuitive hit. You actually want to perhaps take time, or sometimes even downtime on your own, to listen to the inner guidance, to wait for literally an intuitive voice or sign to show up. And
Mhm.
so what's important about all of these is that we are not involving the mind in making decisions. In human design, we have an inner guidance. The mind is just really a role. The role of the mind is to hold information, to see things and take in information. But the intuitive decision making is really underneath that beautiful head. It's really through the inner body. And those are the different authorities. Just a brief description of some of them.
Beautiful. I love learning about all this stuff because I love to look people's charts up and see how much different they are from me, or what's the same, So, um, Richard, when I look you up, let me make sure I have everything right on here. September 11th, 1971 at 5:30 a.m. in Norman, Oklahoma. Correct? Um, it says you are a 2-4 generator, and I
Hmm.
will see if I can make this show up again.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
And almost could be a manifesting generator. I
mhm.
see
Oh,
Richard's throat center has some definition, and when we say definition, it
right.
means that in your human design, again, based on sort of the chakra centers, the throat center, when it's colored in a design, it means that there's some consistent energy. And in this case, it's sort of like the power of the throat, the ability to speak, to use words. As children, sometimes if you're defined, you could be maybe talkative until you're told to sit down and listen and not speak. But the throat, defined throat, is also the throat center for manifestation and speaking things into words, into action. And so it's an important thing to note in a design, because again, there's different elements that have different characteristics of energy that we want to not only understand, but to optimize.
Mhm.
In any case, and it's not good or bad, right or wrong, we have a way to use the energy in a really positive, forward movement, but we also have sometimes a way to feel hindered by sometimes energy, or we feel, we call it the lower expression of it. So again, the voice could be about the power to really be mindful of our words and the power of those words. And the low expression of a defined throat might be like speaking too much and not giving others a chance to speak. So different qualities of each aspect in your design.
Nice. Yeah. I love this stuff. Um, we didn't talk about the signature. So if you look up your chart, your strategy will be there. So how you need to move through the world, or the sufficient way that you would move through the world. Excuse me. So like a signature for a generator would be or a strategy for a generator would be to respond. And mine as a projector would be to wait for the invitation. And then you've got the signature there. Would you explain the signature a little bit more?
Sure. So each of these elements, they're related. For example, the strategy to the type. The signature is also related to the energy type, because it's a way of, in my opinion, saying when you're using your energy in alignment, in the way that's best serving you, then you're going to feel a certain way. And that's what the signature is. So, for example, the signature of the projector is they feel success. If
Right.
they feel that success, it's because they perhaps have rested, and then they've received an invitation to share their wisdom and insight. And then the authority is that decision making. They've used the authority in the right way. If they don't feel that success, the opposite is the not self theme. So projectors might feel bitter. They might feel this, almost like, I call it a red flag feeling. And that usually signifies that they probably weren't, again, optimizing their energy or using any of their inner guidance. Um, and the same for let's say a generator, their signature would be satisfaction. Really, like, for example, if we said, okay, I'm a generator and I love the work that I do, I feel very satisfied. On the flip side, if I'm not doing the right kind of work, if I haven't said yes to the right opportunity, I took something out of obligation or for a paycheck, if I'm not in alignment with it, I will feel frustration. A generator will feel frustration. So those two sort of ways of feeling, I think are of them as like a temperature gauge. Like, do you feel in alignment, or is something maybe not in alignment? And so those are really important things to, I'm glad you brought that up, Marcia, to be aware of. For
Yeah.
manifestors, it's that feeling of anger, or another word I've used in readings is um, uh, anger or irritated, sort of like, why isn't this working? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Manifestors, though, will feel things in alignment when they are, for example, informing others and not finding roadblocks. Um, and then there's a couple of other signatures and not self themes. We don't have to go over all of them, but just know that those are really important elements that you could also pay attention to in your design.
Right, right. I want to say hi to, excuse me, to Samir, and then there's somebody on here that I'm not recognizing, but hello, welcome. And I don't know how to say that, so I'm not going to try to murder it. So we're talking to Kristi Sullivan tonight about human design, and maybe we'll touch a little bit about or a little bit on the goddess revolution too, because I'm super excited to talk about that too. But I do have a friend who is a reflector. And I know that I don't see anybody yet that has said that they're a reflector. But I know that she gets really frustrated because with a reflector, she's got none of her chakras defined, none of her energy centers defined. So she feels like everybody else is running her life. And my explanation to that was that no, you get to run your life, but you're going to feel differently about it. So, how would you? Oh, that's funny. Hi, Will. Nice to see you. So, how would you explain how a reflector might feel, Kristi?
Yeah, so reflectors are pretty rare. I mentioned them at the beginning. They're actually 1% of the population. So I haven't come across too many. But what I do know is that reflectors, when they're unaware that they have the ability to really be influenced by others, if they're not aware of that, if they're, think of that as they're very empathic, very sensitive beings, if they are not self-aware, then they will just take on sort of the personas, the feelings, the stuff, the energy from anyone that they're around. Um, it it means in a way that they could be a great chameleon. They could fit in anywhere. They really can again reflect who's around them. And if it's healthy, if they're around the right people, that could be beautiful. They could be very loving and feel very kind and um, joyful and uplifted. Um, but if they're around people or groups or situations that aren't so healthy, and they're taking on, for example, too much conflict or too much negative sort of stuff, um, they will feel that and not realize that it's not theirs. It's actually they're picking that up. We all, in some way, have a little bit of this, but reflectors in particular have a certain design where they just need to be really mindful. Spending time by themselves lets them release what is not theirs and truly feel who they are so that they can decide and make decisions and boundaries and um, know who they are at their core, because they still have certain desires, they still have a certain life path and journey. If you're a reflector out there who's listening, really pay attention to where you see definition in your chart. You could pay attention to, for example, the numbers, we call them gates, and look up different aspects of the gates. But even when you have open centers or undefined, we call it, those also have certain ways of expressing. So reflectors can be very beautiful and great for giving a temperature reading of the people around them, but they want to be really aware, self-aware, and also really move slowly, take their time, especially with big decisions. They they are more in alignment with the lunar cycle, 28 days. And that's really important. They want to follow sort of the nuances of the energy of the moon. That can be really helpful for reflectors.
Yeah, yeah. I think she has a problem with with really waiting for that cycle to come around, So
Yeah. And I'm going to speak to that it's stuff is moving so fast around us these days that it really is a great uh, advice to take from a reflector, let's say, that we all need to slow down. We all do need to tune in more to our inner guidance, tune in more to our self-care and how we're doing, and that could lead to our experience in the Goddess Revolution, which is really important to again take time for self-awareness, for perhaps addressing some healing opportunities, for aligning your energy, and we do that in a group setting. So we could talk about that tangent to the human design journey.
right, right. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So I have just a comment. I'm going to show my chart because my chart has a lot of things undefined. My spleen and my root chakra are defined, and my head and my anja are defined. But with all that openness, me not really understanding, I just did a lot of assumption at the beginning when I was learning human design. And I thought that I needed to find the people to fill in all those holes because I was broken. I finally learned that no, I'm a whole still. Whole and complete as I am. I don't need to find anybody to fill in those holes. It does. I mean, I suppose it is nice if your partner maybe does fill on some of those things for you. But what I love about my chart now is that those are the places where I can really feel into under other people and really understand them a lot more, and I can get intuitive information very easily with my chart. So, did you want to say anything about that?
I think that's a wonderful story to share, that you are whole with holes. um, when we say some centers are undefined, it's again just a quality of energy. It's not something missing. So when you have definition, it's like if we think of it as sort of a radio signal. When you have definition, you are putting out a signal. You are putting out the frequency or qualities. When you are open, you are taking in that frequency. You are maybe reflecting back what you're taking in. So it's not that anything's ever missing. It's really about the expression of how the energy flows. And like you had just mentioned, with a lot of open centers that you are able to maybe take in what the energy is around you and reflect it back. This makes, for example, if you're doing coaching, you can sit in front of your clients with your clients and pick up on certain things about them. And you're not looking to fill that space. You're really just wanting to work with how the energy expresses and to be more of that and not try to change that. And that's really the key to human design, is learning what's natural, learning what's also conditioned, because oftentimes in the open centers we pick up conditioning, we pick up programming of what we should be doing. And perfect example is this idea that we need to match with somebody to uh, fill us where we're not. And that's really just a conditioned state of I need to be matched with the perfect person. And really, even in human design, relationships aren't based like that. It's really based on seeing each other and the energy that you are, and honoring each other's uniqueness. And that's really what's most important.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, let's see. I might be able to look up Will's chart too, since he is here. Do you have anything else you want to talk about quick while I look? I have his information because I have his astrology chart.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll touch on one other area. Well, two, I have something called the Human Design Checklist. So if you do go to my website, hdwithkristi.com, and you'll be on my newsletter, you'll get an opportunity to receive a checklist. And we've kind of walked through some of that. First start with your energy type. Then we mentioned the strategy for that type, the authority. One of the other two things I want to mention are looking at your profile, which are the numbers that you'll see, and then the last piece, the incarnation cross. And I mentioned these two things because, again, these elements are, again, make you who you are. You're very unique. The incarnation cross is related to your life path or the theme of your life, not necessarily your job, but definitely a purpose that you will notice through a theme throughout your life. And the profile are sort of the characters you play in 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 the movie of your life, so to speak. So those are really interesting things to look at, just to take note of. Um, and again, if you want a copy of my checklist, go to my website, look up your chart, and then you'll get an automatic email with some more information.
Cool, cool. Just in time. Will is a manifesting generator, which we hadn't come across yet, I guess. So we
Yeah.
touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and what we'll say about that is manifesting generators very similar to generator types. Need to be doing the right kind of work. They like to stay somewhat busy, be doing productive things. But what's interesting is manifesting generators will move very quickly, lightning speed. They will sometimes skip steps, but they're good at finding shortcuts. They need to move their energy, especially through the day. Really important because they almost have like extra energy. Sometimes, and I don't want to label this, but a lot of people I talk to who are manifesting generators will sometimes say, "Oh, I have ADHD." Well, I think it's just really that they're tuning into this energy that isn't meant to sit still. It's meant to be moving. So they're good at finding shortcuts. They're really need a lot of also physical movement throughout the day. Really important for them.
Yeah, that sounds like Will. Yeah.
And Robin says she's also a manifesting generator.
Nice. Yeah. I figured that's what you meant, Robin. Yeah. Um, Robin, I didn't look up your chart, but you can look it up on Kristi's website, and I suggest you do because then she will send you an email. The other ones I didn't look up on yours because you did need the email. So let's talk about the goddess revolution, shall we? We touched on this a little bit when I had Natasha on my show, but I want to hear in your words how this got started and what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. This is sort of a passion of mine. So again, when my journey discovering my human design was also a time when I was like doing some work with practitioners to address some self-limiting beliefs, some past uh, inherited, I would say, beliefs and things maybe on the subconscious level that I didn't recognize might have been blocking things for me. And I think so it goes hand in hand that when you discover your human design, it's also really helpful to, again, in that self-awareness journey, personal development, to start address some ways to more deeply support who you are and to release who you're not, or to um, really start to address maybe again some things that might be conditioned or even from past traumas that need to be addressed. And so what ended up happening is I have a group of women that I've relied on for my own journey that I wanted to bring together. And so the four of us, we call ourselves the Goddess Revolution, started to work with different women once a week to provide support and a container for helping us to really elevate our energy and to um, be together, especially when so much is changing around us, so much is going on. It's a way for us to be with like-minded souls. And we call this, these times are really a revolution. These times are really about, if you know anything about uh, astrology and Pluto, um, there is a rebirth, revolution, not in the sense of like fighting, but really in the sense of like turning over and rebirth. And so it is also the rise right now of a lot of more feminine energy, divine feminine energy, and divine masculine energy. So that's also part of what we are tuned into this group is how to find not just the, I don't want to say balance, but the harmony in uplifting both of these, because this is how the world is changing. This is how we're transforming, and it starts on the inside. And so we meet weekly and we provide things like one week focus on human design, another week might be on some ancestral clearing or tapping, EFT, sometimes doing a meditation, a hypnosis session, or just some clearing and uplifting. And so we do this on a weekly basis, and it's really beautiful. I know, Marcia, you would come week after week, and we could just see the transformation, just not just energetically, but like the light just like starting to shift. And I know there was a lot of things that you experienced. Do you want to talk about anything that really you experienced as part of that?
Well, at the time I was going through a lot of major shifts in my life. So, I mean, I got married, I got annulled, I moved house, I had roommates that were already friends with the husband, and both of them were foreigners too. So it was a lot of tumultuous time. And that's, I'm a Capricorn. I will build a mountain to climb it, right? But that's part of what I learned was that, hey, Capricorn, you can relax a little bit. And so all of that fell apart too in all of this while I was going through the journey of the I mean, I think that maybe he left no, we had already started and he left in the middle of it. So, um, it was a really good supportive thing for me to have while I was going through all that weirdness in my life. And I would never do it differently, but I would highly recommend that other people not do all that at the same time. But I did learn a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about um, how to relax into things. And I mean, a lot more about how to relax into things. That's at that time I started writing myself love letters as well. And I wouldn't have been inspired to do that had I not been going through this goddess revelation with all these other women and had the support that I did have. I just knew that I was looking for something a little extra, so I started writing love letters to myself and honestly talking about what I do like about myself. So the whole thing gave me support with women that I will never forget. And I believe that I will always be friends with these women, even though some of them I don't know very well. But it just was so much love and so much support from even over people overseas, so just fantastic.
That's great. That's so great to hear. Yes, on a soul level, we connected. And I want to say too, on some women experience, changes in their relationships. Some more more joy, more travel. We see a lot of women also having, manifesting things that they're really desiring in their business, perhaps. I know even Marcia, you had said, you had this opportunity, and a paid opportunity that came up, and it's like when we all rise up with that energy, then things like that are happening to us much more, much faster, whether it's new clients, new income, and those kind of things. I just want to mention too, because I've seen them happen.
Right. And I did get a few paid opportunities to be on like other podcasts, and there was something. Oh, got paid lots of money to go speak at a women's retreat.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just fantastic things like that. And more of that, please, because I love to do that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was really excellent, and
right
at
in
some
alignment
point,
with your projector getting an invitation, right? Your projector energy got an invitation to be at this retreat paid.
That really lights me up. Yeah. To not have to advertise for it. It was just my friend talking about me that got me invited to that. So that was really cool. And at some point, I want to be back east some point soon. I want to be back east so that I can see you in person and see Tiffany in person. So there'd be a lot right in that corner of the world.
Yeah. And Tiffany says she's a projector as well. Look at that.
Oh, not a surprise. Tiffany and I have the same birthday, so I'm not surprised by that at all.
Oh.
I mean, we're different years, but yeah. Yes, I want to come see you, and you too, Robin. You aren't that far away. It'd be like going across my state, if that. So, let's see. We got about 6 minutes left. Is there anything you're just dying to tell people about, Kristi?
I will just share that I have this book, Stop Overworking and Start Overflowing. This I birthed a few years ago. It is a compilation of human design enthusiasts like myself who talk about how we discovered human design. So it's a practical, inspiring book, not technical. It's not about what does this mean in your chart or that, but it's really meant to like give you a story from, let's say, a projector, and how finding human design, what it did for them. And then each author also provides a tool that is great for self-care and self-awareness and healing. So it's like Chicken Soup for the Soul book. You could just open any chapter and read it and get inspired. So I produce that with 25 other authors, and that's available not only on Amazon, but also on Audible now. So I want to put a little plug for that.
Awesome. I knew that we both did that, but I didn't think we were in the same one. So I'm glad you talked about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how we met, as through our publishers, right?
Yes,
right,
yes. Excellent. Well, so if you are interested in getting a human design reading from Kristi, please go to her website, put in your information, and then sign up. She will send you an email, and I assume that's how you start making people their appointments, right?
Yeah, or they can book it right online. There's a section where you can, I think I'm in on the homepage, there's an opportunity to do a single reading, or you can buy a package where we go through more fully your chart and talk about the effects on your business or relationships. And I will say, and I know this is airing in October, it's my birthday month. So I was doing a birthday discount if anyone, and I know there's only a few days left in October, but it contacts me and books something even if it's for next month, but in October, if you reach out to me, I will honor a birthday discount, which is my gift to anybody who's gonna do a reading with me.
Excellent. I love that. Happy birthday, Kristi.
Thank you.
I haven't sang it all, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kristi. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so sweet.
You're welcome. It isn't very often that I don't sing it all during the show, so we'll get a little bit in there.
Love it.
And happy birthday to everybody else who has a birthday this month, too. I know I believe there are a couple people who watch regularly that do, so yay. So, let's see. November 8th, I am doing an expo here in Billings, Montana at the Unity Church. If you would like to come to that, please look at my website, look on Facebook, it's advertised all over both. And I welcome you, would love to see you there. So let's see, next week I have, come on, I got to get her last name right. Shannon Kitchens. That's why it's too easy for me. On my show, and she will be talking about her podcast. And I want to really thank Kristi for being on the show. Thank you for coming, Kristi. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you sharing everything with us, all that you do. And let's see, is there anything else? Please do reach out to Kristi, and like she said, she's giving you a discount if you book by the end of the month. So hooray for that. And we want to get her some more business, and reach out to her too if you're interested in some of the Goddess Revolution groups. So when do you have a new one starting, Kristi?
So we've turned it into just a monthly membership opportunity. So
very good.
You can join at any time. And then if you follow my Facebook page, Human Design with Kristi, or if you go to or find me on Facebook or email me, I can also add you to our Goddess Revolution group, and you can find things like we call them open calls or experiences to also like just come and get a test flavor, a taste of the group.
Excellent. They are so wonderful and so supportive. Do you have any men things too? We have a lot of men that listen. So,
well, certainly we can offer something more like one-on-one with men. And I think starting with a human design reading would be a good place. And then, if we do find some men who are interested, we're very open to including them.
Yeah,
excellent. Is needed. Yeah.
Yes. And they need guidance on how to move into their feminine. I know there's a lot of men right now that, in the last few years, there have been a lot of men who have come to me that just feel like they're jittery and can't find their place in the world. And I think it would be really fabulous for some of those men to have some guidance as far as, how to settle in where it's about a more balanced society instead of so masculine. So, well, thank you very much, Kristi. Thank you, everybody else, for being here. Excellent for you to share your energy with me, and I will see you next week. Bye. Oh, Kristi, if you can